Hey muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Okay, today we're going to get to a video I completely forgot about. Now again, we are currently in the midst of the unstoppable, unending saga that is revisiting Dramageddon 2. Now, we just watched Trisha Paytas's Tatty Dumb as Hell video, which was a roller coaster. But there's a video that I completely forgot about, which thank you so much to all of you that are equally as chronically online as what I am, that commented under my videos, basically being like, Adam, you need to cover this one. And it is this, Blaire White's video by Jeffree Star, You're a Monster. My experience. Blaire White, the pinnacle of truth. So let's get to this video. Also, P.O. Box is now opened. It is right here. I am going to be sending these little postcards to everyone that sends anything to the P.O. Oh shit, I just dropped a bunch on the floor. I'm going to be signing and writing a little letter to everyone who sends things to the P.O. Box. Just make sure you have your address somewhere so I know where I'm sending it to. But this is the P.O. Box. I'll link it down below as well. I'm going to start sending them out in the next few days as things arrive. So yeah, just a way of saying thank you. Let's get to this Blaire White video. Now, again, Blaire White is a very controversial person on this platform and was someone that I actually learned about for the first time when this video came out. When did it come out? 28th of June, 2020. So we're in the peak of the pandemic at this stage. So this is when all this was really going up again. With the Jeffree and Shane really being exposed. Hattie Westbrook had made the Break My Silence video. James Charles was loved again in the media. And Blaire White had been teasing this video. Sorry, this is a crazy image. Blaire White had been teasing the video for quite some time and said that she was actually scared for her safety to post this video and was like, basically insinuating that Jeffree Star was going to her if she made this video. And if I remember, the video was not even that bad about Jeffree Star, but I may be wrong. But anyway, let's hear what Blaire White has to say. The beacon of truth.
Okay, so I have started and stopped this video 13 times because I am that nervous and scared to make this video. You know, in the past, I've definitely not been scared of speaking against powerful people.
Oh, also, the description, I want to read this, says, I'm elaborating on things including the Shane allegations, clips on my Instagram story. I completely agree with all of you questioning how I feel about certain, because her and Shane had filmed collabs before, and I think we're friends, surfacing from when Shane and I did, collabs together or Shane's own things. When I have a channel that focuses on busting predatory behavior, I've attacked others for less. All I can say is that yesterday was my first time seeing certain things, particularly the clip of him justifying Ilya, and it's truly indefensible. It was extremely hard for me to film and post the bit at the end of this video about Shane, but it needed to be done. As much as I pride myself on being a loyal friend till the end, there comes a point when I'm betraying my own integrity by allowing it to be perceived that I endorse or condone certain actions. Let me know if you'd like me to do a video on this. I'm most likely doing one regardless. She goes, let me know if you want a video. I'm making one either way. I'd also like to further clarify that my purpose for doing this video is because I am not able to ignore the credible allegations Jeffree Star informed me of if there's any chance of others being victimized. I resent that I was forced into two choices, be silent and possibly aid in a cover-up of predation, or go public and set off a huge controversy. At the end of the day, I'm a human who needs to lay my head down at night with a clean conscience and clean my mouth, and keeping my mouth shut just doesn't do it. My hope for the outcome of this video is that all the evidence of predation within, I've never heard that word before, within the community that Jeffree has to be released to spare further victims rather than be used as some sick blackmail game. Wow, this is long. Because these alleged predators have dirt on Jeffree. Only Jeffree can do the right thing and reveal the truth about these people, regardless of whatever dirt they have on him. I refuse to be caught up in the game. All right, let's get it.
Or people with more influence, money, resources, etc., than frankly I'd ever hope to have.
How many views did this have? 2 million.
I most definitely am, which probably tells you something, and to be frank, as I'm sitting here, tells me that this is probably the exact right thing to do. If I'm this scared to do it, then I probably should be doing it. The idea of doing this video is something that I've gone back and forth on, and that has weighed very heavily on my conscience for about a month, preceding a very disturbing FaceTime call I had with Jeffree Star, who this video is about, as well as other people this video is going to be about as well.
God, Jeffree Star was really doing the rounds, letting every YouTuber in on hearing the voice memo and telling them that James Charles was a predator, right? He really was on a fucking world tour in the DMs of fellow YouTubers trying to turn them against James. Oh my God.
Which I'll bring in. I was put in a very bad position by Jeffree Star that I don't feel like I deserve to be in, to where I was told things that I'm either silent about and then therefore in a way complicit with some really messed up crap, or I speak about and then put my shit on the line. And I don't feel like it's fair for me to be in that position. And I finally broke yesterday and talked to my childhood best friend about this. And I said, should I be talking about this? I'm scared. She said very plainly, and she's very removed from YouTube and YouTubers and this whole up world. And she was very honest and said, if this is the right thing to do, if this is where your heart is, then there's no other question. All the consequences, this person having, you know, influence or power or whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's the right thing to talk about, it's the right thing to talk about. So I'm just gonna do it. So contrary to what I think some people think, I have never met Jeffree Star. We are not friends. He had me blocked for many years on Twitter because I was critical.
Me too, babe. They all have me blocked.
Some of his very bad behavior. And a year ago, if you guys remember, when he launched some accusations against James Charles, specifically that James Charles is a sexual predator, I was live saying that Jeffree was a mess for that because he's refusing to provide receipts for that claim. He was promising to provide them and then backed off and said, I don't want any part of the drama. Here is my opinion. Jeffree has no receipts. I think Jeffree was loving the downfall of James, and now that it's backfiring, he wants to dip out. And I keep saying you can't put your toe in and then put your toe out. He didn't put a toe in. He like body slammed his way in, tried to ruin this kid's life, and now he's saying, I'm in a really bad place. It's a really dark place for me. Sure. And I don't want to do this. And first of all,
that is literally exactly what I said Jeffree did. Jeffree loved when James was on this downfall, and when it started coming back on Jeffree, and James showed all the proof that Jeffree was, you know, being so evil behind the scenes, Jeffree was like, that was me yesterday, and this is me today, and I'm such a better person today than I was yesterday. I've learned so much in the last 24 hours from where I want to be. And it was because you had nothing to fucking show.
Well, sexual predation is not drama. As a rape survivor, I don't feel that it's drama. So I need to be specific about how he came into contact. He reached out to me via DM.
Of course.
And the reason he reached out to me is because of this. And please keep this in mind, because I'm going to come back to this later. I typed out Jeffree's first name in response to someone on Twitter, a reply tweet, not a main feed tweet, saying, I'm thinking about doing a video specifically about Jeffree's involvement with Davi Vanity, because it's really shady. He then was in my DMs with a quickness to, in my opinion, put out a fire. He didn't want my video to be made, so he came in my DMs, requested a FaceTime. We most definitely FaceTime.
Isn't that really ironic that Jeffree started doing all this, trying to get Blaire involved in the James thing out of a distraction because Blaire was going to expose Jeffree and Davi Vanity? Really interesting how much Jeffree tries to scrub that one under the rug. By the way, if you ever have a spare 30 minutes, 20 minutes, type in Jeffree Star Business Insider and read one of the articles by Kat Tambarge. It's a good read. It's a good read.
Timed. And this, by the way, this video is not about Davi Vanity. Okay? This is just a backdrop of how we came into contact, and I have to be specific about that. And basically, he manipulated me into not going forward with my video, said that a bunch of the things that were out there were fabricated. A lot of the receipts I planned on using were fabricated, was very convincing about it. And then a few days later, went on Chris Hansen, went back on all of that, and basically showed himself to lie to me. He said a lot of the things were fake, and then went back and said they were real on Chris Hansen. But again, that is just point A. This is not the point of this video. That's how he came.
But also, how many people in this entire scenario have said that Jeffree has manipulated them or whatever? What is so convincing about him behind the scenes? Like, I would love to know. Like, I would love every single screenshot, every single FaceTime call to leak, because I want to see how persuasive he is. We have so many grown people now saying that they get manipulated by Jeffree Star. How good at it is he?
Into contact. So, however the conversation proceeded, it got to him asking me, so what's your opinion of James Charles? And
of course,
a year ago, he
must have spent his entire fucking summer, his entire 2020 and 2019 and 2018 talking shit about James. Oh my God. Isn't it so funny that Jeffree had all the money in the world, all the love in the world with Nate. Not anymore. And Nate seems to be doing really good with his new girlfriend, by the way, on Instagram. I see them pop up every once in a while. He finally got what he wanted. Jeffree had all the houses in the world, all the love in the world, all the fame in the world, all the money, all the jets, all the fans, all the everything. But still, he was so threatened by an 18-year-old boy that he focused his entire 2 years on him. That is like deranged behavior. Deranged.
James Charles
Bored behavior.
Refused to back it up with the receipts he promised he had. I told him my honest view, which is one that I was public with a year ago when it happened, and said, I felt like if you were going to call him a predator and promise that you had the receipts, you should have proven it and you should have provided those receipts and you shouldn't have tried to back out of it. I didn't feel that was right. He said, okay, I respect it, but do you want to know the truth? And this is the point where I wish I would have said no, in a way, but in a way not. He then provided me with receipts of a voice memo from a YouTuber who...
Jeffree Star does not care about victims. The fact that Jeffree Star has teased, sent, I don't fucking know, this alleged voice memo of a victim of James Charles to so many people, some of which he's speaking to for the first time, is disgusting. He's using this leverage of, look, I have a victim's voice memo, and you're sending it around to so many fucking people. That's so evil and so twisted and so like beyond fucked up that you're using an alleged victim's voice memo as leverage. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Was allegedly sexually molested by James Charles, and it's credible. It's a YouTuber. It's credible. It is not my place to out this YouTuber's name at all. I have privately reached out to this YouTuber and said, hey, I'm a rape survivor myself, because I am. And I should never have been told this, but I want to let you know it's okay to go public with your story. It's okay to be heard, or even just to talk to me if you need to, because I am a survivor myself. So I'm in shock after being given this information by Jeffree, and then Jeffree proceeds to tell me, James will never attack me because I have this on him. I have shit on everyone, which he has said publicly before. I have shit on everyone.
Because I have dirt on everyone, and they know to keep their mouths shut.
Not the here for the T logo.
This as gossip that you hold over someone's head or whatever. This is something serious. This is a crime. And just
it's like the dramification of sexual assault. And that's enjoyable to Jeffree Star, which is so disturbing.
The fact that he's blackmailing people with this is disgusting. And the fact that I am expected to hold on to this information as well.
That's the thing as well. For all these people that have came forward and said that they've heard this voice memo at the hands of Jeffree Star, then that weighs on them. Then they know this. Then allegedly they can't do anything about it, or they can't. It's like so fucked up, dude.
And just the shocking fact that this is our first interaction ever and he's telling me this, I'm like, how many other people know this and have heard this voice memo and know that this is the truth? What? You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is my first interaction with you and you feel comfortable enough to tell me this, thinking that I'm just going to be in on this little game and complicit and he. No, that's something serious. And yes, it did take me a month to do this video, but that's because I have been scared. This is something serious. And I want to be very clear, this is not my place to out this person, you know, the victim's name, because this is clearly their story to tell.
But imagine being this alleged person, right? And you're seeing all these YouTubers make videos that are getting millions of views talking about you, like basically subtweeting you, talking about your story, talking about your whatever. Like,
but you guys have to understand the position I'm in. If I receive credible information that a very famous, very powerful YouTuber is a sexual molester or predator, but am I complicit with helping cover up for a predator by not saying that at least that much is true? That's the battle that's been going on in my head. And that's why I reached out to this person privately, the alleged victim, and offered my support. And I highly encourage them to go public. I highly encourage them to tell their story, because one thing I learned from the years it took me to speak up about my own instance of rape is that one thing that's very hard for me to personally live with is knowing that there might have been people after me that were victimized by the man who hurt me because I didn't want to say anything. And if you think it couldn't get any worse, it most definitely does. Jeffree then revealed to me someone else, a very famous YouTuber who, yeah, I'll use the word raped someone. Did he provide me with receipts of that one? No. Do I personally think it's credible? Yes. And part of the reason why I'm doing this video is to come to you guys and ask, if you guys knew this information, what would you...
God, it's just a game to Jeffree, and it's like, there's something so deeply wrong with him. He's like getting off on exposing people for being predators, but he doesn't want to expose them for being predators. He wants to hold it over their heads so that he can get something out of it. Like, there's no good intentions here, and that's what's so deeply disturbing about Jeffree Star.
Do with it, because I don't know. I don't think I can go to the police on someone else's behalf. I'm scared to say names. I'm scared to reveal what I know. But at the same time, how do I hold on to it knowing there's more victims potentially? If someone's just getting away with it, like, where does that leave me as a person? What would you do if you were made privy to certain information about certain people that are out here every other day, like, you know, getting money and sponsorships and accolades and public, you know, adoration? What do I do? And one of the reasons I definitely decided to do this video and made me so sick is that Jeffree went on a podcast recently and teased this same receipt, the same voice memo from the YouTuber who was allegedly sexually molested by James Charles to FaZe Banks and Keemstar.
That is true. Yeah, he went on the Mom's Basement podcast, and Keemstar was basically like not believing it, and Jeffree was like, okay, well, we can pause. We can go into the next room, and I can play you the victim of James Charles. Why are you getting off on this? Like, why are you getting off on having this information? Why is this so, like, deeply, like, what is this deep-rooted fascination you have with this? It's so disturbing. Like, it's so fucking disturbing.
So if you want, we can pause and I can go in another room and play Banks what I have on my phone, and he can determine if he would have sent the same tweet.
So you're running around,
like, imagine being the person that's the alleged voice memo hearing this.
Like I said before, it's not to me. It's serious to me.
Like, if the voice memo is real and true, someone opening up about their story and it's being used as a little telling all the influencers, we're going to go into the next room and listen to it. Like, what the fuck?
And you may have every other one of these YouTubers as your little puppet and you're in their ear doing whatever. I'm no one's puppet. You can't put the battery in my back. You can't silence me. I know you paid to silence people. You can't silence me. And I'm just not going to be that person. Especially not if you're going to make me aware of crimes and then be like keeping me in on this little secret. Like, no. I'm sorry, no. A lot of people I know are afraid of Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star has a lot of people by the balls. Let's just be honest. A lot of people have Jeffree in their ear constantly, in their DMs, trying to manipulate them or get them to run with certain stories. He's paying...
God, for someone who you know, brags on about the fact that he's so busy with work, he really spends all of his time doing all this shit, doesn't he? He seems actually very unemployed. Well, he is now. I mean, fucking yak farm. But, like, back then, this was his peak, and this is what you're doing? You were miserable. You were miserable. No wonder you ran away to that little yak farm. You were miserable.
Off people for silence. He's paying people to say certain things. Never me. But I'm just disgusted that he expected me to be one of these people that he can just drop these disgusting bombs on, and I'm supposed to be like, funny tea, funny gossip. It's really not. The stuff that Jeffree does behind the scenes, manipulating people. I know so many people who have told me, Jeffree's in my DMs trying to get me to say this or do this or that. I don't know why he trusted me to be one of his little pawns, but I'm really not that bitch. Recently, the owner of the clothing brand Dolls Kill fell into some really heavy backlash and controversy, I think for posting a pro-police thing during all the protests and riots. Bella, be quiet. It's my dog. And wherever you fall in terms of that whole debate, that's separate. But regardless, this brand owner was...
Wherever you fall in that debate. Girl, please.
Getting a ton of backlash. The whole world was coming down on them, comment sections, everything. And in this person's moment of weakness, Jeffree decided to DM them saying this. Hope you have a beautiful morning and get a rubber bullet in the middle of your f***ing head. Who says that? That is disgusting. That is monstrous. That is seeing someone in pain and wanting to compound on that pain. Who says I hope you get a rubber bullet. Like, who says I'm holding blackmail against James Charles for sexual predation? Who says, by the way, this person really...
He's just an evil person, isn't he?
I know Jeffree feels like he can play with it, and maybe he feels like all these YouTubers are in his back pocket and everyone's scared of him. And you know what? I was scared. And even making this video right now, I'm scared. When I go to hit the upload button, I'm gonna be scared. But I'm gonna upload it and I'm gonna post it. One other thing. I recently posted on my Instagram story, you know, basically like alluding to the fact that I wanted to do this video. And here's what's very important about my Instagram. Jeffree does not and has never followed me there. However, within minutes of me posting this story, or I didn't even tag him just like before, he was FaceTiming me. I didn't answer because I didn't want him in my head again. And I didn't...
Again, for how much in all those Shane series, he was like, I'm so busy with work. I'm always in and out of the office. Is he in and out of the office just scrolling on Twitter and scrolling on Instagram? I'm aware that a big part of these influencer jobs is being on it in social media, but he seemed to just keep tabs like no other, like stalker-ish, like just very, very, very weirdo. And then he was using it to be evil behavior.
I want to be manipulated again. Okay? So I just think it's kind of weird that... I don't know,
thank God his power's gone.
People's social media that he's like worried about or trying to control or whatever, but for him to FaceTime call me within minutes of me posting this on my story when he wasn't tagged and doesn't follow me, and that, keep in mind that's how he contacted me the first time on Twitter. I typed his first name in response to someone. That's crazy to me. That's sociopathic, that's controlling, that is trying to, again, use people as your puppet. This last month of being scared to say all this was not healthy for me. I was disgusted with myself, and it's over. Period. So to answer what I think will be an important question, I did not record, because I'm not a grimy bitch, the FaceTime call. So the evidence that was made clear to me about James Charles' victim, I don't personally have on my phone because I'm not entering a FaceTime call with someone, setting a screen record or screenshotting or whatever, okay? And you are gonna have to take into account that he has teased this to FaZe Banks, to Keemstar. Go ask them if they...
We believe that he does this.
What I would gain by lying about this, because there's literally nothing. If it came out that I made up this crazy elaborate bullshit story about what he told me, pretty sure it would ruin my life for lying about something this crazy. So, believe me or don't believe me, but that's all I can say, is my truth and what happened in this scenario. So in closing, I just want to say,
God, I really, if there is a voice memo and if there is a victim, that's who I feel bad for in all this. What do you mean you confided in Jeffree Star and he then uses this alleged voice memo for years on years as bait in the industry? It's not right. It's not right. Could you imagine opening up about something and then hearing on like a podcast Jeffree being like, let me play you this and then you can make your mind up? It's not right.
I have reached out to the victims that I have been made aware of by Jeffree, offered my own personal support, and offered my encouragement of them going public. All I know is my opinion and experience with Jeffree, who I believe tried to manipulate the fuck out of me, is blackmailing people on topics of sexual predation, in my opinion needs help, and is far from a healthy, stable, good person. And I just don't want to be one of those people anymore that is scared to speak against Jeffree fucking Star. Done. See you guys in the next video. Oh, and if my body's found dead in a ditch somewhere, it's Jeffree Star. Hey guys, so
I love an insert at the end of the video with another video. I love it, especially with the 1 hour later text. Ooh, what are you gonna tell us? Oh, is this about Shane?
Just filmed this video, get off, start editing, look at my phone, social media for the first time all day, and I see a lot of stuff coming out about Shane Dawson, with the Smith family angry over him making inappropriate jokes about Willow Smith when she was underage, and just like a lot of very questionable humor and statements that I hope are humor. And I'm opening my DMs and I'm seeing a lot of people asking me to address it for the simple fact that it is public knowledge that I'm friends with Shane. I think my most viewed video ever is with Shane on my channel. Obviously, I'm going to be asked by my entire subscriber base to address that because that's my friend, and how can I have a channel where I, go after, like, predatory behavior and predators and not address that that's coming out about someone that is a friend? And I just have to say that I most definitely don't condone any of that. I wasn't aware that that was a thing, that those jokes were a thing, that those statements by him were a thing. They go beyond the limit, and you guys know I am the first one to be like, it's comedy, stop being so offended. Some of the things are just way too far. And if no one's laughing, then it's not really a joke. So, as hard as it is, and as much as I feel like a very intense loyalty to Shane because he's done so much for me, and he was one of the first people to give me a chance, and one of the reasons why people even know my name, how can I have a channel going after predators and about predatory behavior?
Also, one thing I really did actually appreciate about Blaire in this moment was Blaire was one of the first people in Shane's circle to address this. This was like the 28th of June. Shane's stuff really started to come out in the end of June. So whereas other Shane friends took many months, if not years, to speak out against it, Blaire really spoke up within like a week. And I really appreciated that because it showed that you didn't need to wait until public opinion forced you to talk about it. You actually wanted to talk about it in your own accord. And while I may disagree with Blaire White in a lot of things, I appreciate that she upheld her morals here, whereas other YouTubers didn't.
And not disavow that. So I just want to make it completely clear that.
And by the way, Blaire White here still had a friendship with Shane Dawson, so she was still profiting off of Shane Dawson. So, a lot of people waited to speak out against Shane Dawson until they were no longer friends and could profit off of him. So I appreciate her for this.
I've addressed that in, the prior filming that I did for this video, but it was happening and coming out on Twitter literally as I was filming it. And I am most definitely going to say I don't condone it, that I completely disavow it, and it'd be very hypocritical for me to be silent on that. And honestly, I'm done being caught up in anyone's f***ing shit right now. Like, I'm done being the ear for psychopathic Jeffree Star. It happened once and it was too much for me. I am done, having this impenetrable loyalty to people who get themselves into messes and then I have to address it, and no. I'm over it. I just want to go back to making the videos that I make. It was very hurtful to see the stuff coming out about Shane as someone who is an advocate for survivors, and I kind of can't even believe it. So that's what I have to say about that, because I know that if I don't put that in here, that's going to definitely be, and rightfully so, a very, I don't know how to have the type of channel I do and just pretend like that's not coming out about him right now and that he's not deeply involved in all this stuff I talked about too. So that's just that on that. It's very sad. It's very ugly.
All right. Now, what I will say is I appreciated the Shane thing at the end. I thought it was very good, and it showed a lot of integrity in this specific instance. Again, I disagree with Blaire White on a lot of things. This video, the lead up to it was crazy. Again, like I said at the start, Blaire kept saying that she was scared for her safety. She was scared that Jeffree was going to come after her. So people thought she was going to be revealing a lot in the video. And really, it was 18 minutes of what could have been 4 minutes, saying you had the voice memo and why that's wrong, and then whatever. So I do think that she kind of built it up for publicity, honestly. I think the video was still necessary. It further proved that Jeffree was doing this to so many people, and that's wrong. And this leverage of this voice memo was just so fucking disturbing. So disturbing. Muckers, let me know your opinion down below. Let's talk about it. And I'll see you in my next one. And goodbye.